There, I hit my mark. No, I have a few things to say, and I'm going to take off my mask because I have to put on my glasses. And, I want to say a few things first, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Half Summer Players production of Nathan the Wise. Before we entered Jerusalem in the year 1192, a few reminders. Please turn off all handhelds and other devices. Otherwise, may distract from the performance. And I was going to say, please also mask up, but you already are. Thank you for that. There will be a 15-minute intermission between Acts 5 and 6. Scenes 5 and 6, I should say. Restrooms are available. The original display was 8 hours long. What you're seeing is the adaptation, a brilliant adaptation.
How long is it, Larry?
I'll tell you what, at the end of the play, tell me if you thought it was too long. and I somehow don't think you will. But there will be a 15-minute intermission between scenes 5 and 6. Restrooms are available in the entrance lobby. After the performance, for those who wish to stay and share comments and questions with the cast of Nathan, the cast will be pleased to provide a talkback opportunity. They will sit right here, and any questions or comments that you might have for the good of the group or just for your own curiosity, they will be happy to hear them. We very much thank you for your attendance. This is a great house, and for your financial support. And now, Nathan the Wise.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.
My dear Rachel, your Rachel.
Is she?
I say she is. I have the greatest claim that any man could have. She was given to me by the good God himself.
In payment.
In payment, yes, if you'll have it so, for my suffering.
And now you make me suffer in return.
What are you muttering?
Nothing.
Good.
But one day.
Wait, I've forgotten. I've something to show you.
One day when my conscience.
Just look at what I bought in Babylon. For you. You'll not find its like anywhere. I've not given even Rachel finer. What do you say?
I say you never change, Nathan. Everything's made better with a gift.
So take the gift, and then we're friends again.
You are the kindest, best-hearted man I know. And yet
I am a Jew. Strange, isn't it?
you know what I was going to say.
You have no need to say it then.
And so, who will speak for you on the day that God exacts his vengeance?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe I can give him something too. But where is she, Dea? Why she not come to greet me?
You'll have to ask her yourself. I can get no sense from her. She's so nervy now. Sees fires everywhere. When she sleeps, her mind's a fervor. But when she wakes, not there at all.
Poor child. She has had a shock.
This morning I couldn't wake her. I thought she was dead. Then suddenly up she sits. Listen, my father's camels. I couldn't hear a thing. There's his voice. And closes her eyes and falls back on the pillow. I ran straight down and here you were. She thinks of nothing but you. Oh well, apart from him.
Him.
The man who rescued her.
She was rescued. Who by?
A young Knight Templar.
A Templar. Are you sure?
They're not easily mistaken.
Oh no. But a Templar in Jerusalem. Alive.
He was a prisoner, but the Sultan pardoned him.
By God. Saladin pardon a Templar. Now I don't know which was the miracle. Her escape or his.
And if he hadn't thrown himself into the fire, risked the life he just regained, she'd be lost to us now.
But where is he, Dea? I must speak to him, thank him, reward him. You explained my absence, I hope, promised him something when I returned.
How could I? No one knew where he came from. He was suddenly there. We had never seen him near the house. He can have had no idea where he was going, but he dives into the fire, white cloak wrapped about his face, following the sound of her screams. I thought he was gone, dead. They both were. You could see nothing in the smoke. And then there he is again, carrying her in his arms. We're cheering, crying, shouting. And he's cold, like a statue. Lays her on the ground, pushes his way past us, and disappears.
He can't have vanished.
A few days later we found him in the palm grove. He paces up and down beside the tomb of our risen Lord. We were overjoyed. I raced out to meet him, thanked him, praised his courage. I said, come and see her. She won't be at peace until she's thanked you herself. I begged him, but would he listen? No. He mocked me, ridiculed me, humiliated me.
And thus deterred?
You know me better than that. I have been back every day, and every day the same. What I haven't suffered from that man. I would gladly suffer again for her. But he stopped coming to the Holy Sepulchre, and no one knows where he's gone. What are you thinking?
I'm trying to put myself in Rachel's position. One moment, this man behaves like a hero. I worship him. The next, my idol treats me like a dog. If I'm Rachel, by now I've turned myself into the heroine of a tragic love story.
What do you expect? She's a wasn't a real Templar at all, but an angel. Oh. You know, since she was a child, she's imagined angels watching over her. This one emerged from his shimmering cloud into the earthly form of a Templar in the heart of the fire. Oh, don't smile. You know there's not a Jew, Christian, or Muslim who doesn't secretly believe in angels.
And I include myself. Go and see if she's awake. I'd like to speak to her. Then I shall seek out our rogue angel myself and entice him down to earth with us.
Good luck.
And when she meets him in the flesh, Dea, I think you'll find that, like any woman, she's happy he's not an angel, but a man.
For a good person, you are very wicked.
Father, is it really you? I thought I must have dreamt your voice. Well, what mountains and rivers lie between us now? Here we stand, breathing the same air, yet you don't rush to embrace me. I was in a fire. I nearly died. Don't tremble. It was only nearly. Fire is such a terrible way to die.
My child, my darling child.
You had to cross the Euphrates, the Tigris, the Jordan, all those rivers. I used to worry about you so much before the fire came. But now I think how wonderful it must be to die in water. How cooling, how welcoming. No, you are not drowned, and I'm not burned. We should rejoice and praise God. He bore you across the waters on the wings of invisible angels. But I saw my angel. He carried me out of the fire on his white wings.
He had wings.
I saw them. I saw him as plainly as I see you.
And my daughter must have seemed as beautiful to him as he did to her.
Who are you trying to flatter, my father? The angel or yourself?
But let's suppose only for a moment that there was no angel. Let's suppose it was a man. Wouldn't a man have seemed like an angel because he saved you?
But he didn't seem like an angel. He was one.
Rachel,
Who taught me that angels exist? That they hover around us at all times? And that God sends them to work miracles for those who have loved him. And I've loved him, haven't I?
you have, and he loves you. And isn't it miracle enough that my Rachel owes her life to a man whose own life was saved by a miracle? Who ever heard of Saladin pardoning a Templar? Or for that matter, of a Templar seeking Saladin's pardon?
But that proves it, don't you see? It couldn't possibly have been a real Templar. Because what could a Templar be doing in Jerusalem? He only seemed to be one. But actually, he was an angel.
That's good. Very good. Dea, your turn. You're the one who told me he was a prisoner. What else do you know?
About him? Only what people say.
Which is?
The Sultan pardoned him because he looked so like a favorite brother, apparently. I don't know his name, but he died 20 years ago and they never found the body. That's what they say, if you want to believe them.
And you don't.
He's Saladin.
And so incapable of affection? Even you'll admit he loves his family. Why shouldn't he have had a brother he loved more than the rest? And as for the resemblance, well, almost every week you tell me you've seen someone who reminds you of a friend in Switzerland, when then some great story follows of how much you miss your homeland.
It still doesn't make any sense.
Why? Because there aren't any angels involved?
Why should Saladin pardon a Templar?
And how could a Templar vanish into thin air?
Now, when you say vanish, do you mean why has he stopped pacing up and down in the palm grove outside our house? Or have you scoured the city for him?
Of course we haven't.
So how do you know he's not lying somewhere, injured?
Injured?
I know he's
European, not used to the climate here. The heat of the day, the freezing night.
He's sick, I know it!
He's not your father, it's just supposing. Imagine him lost in a strange land, oh, no friends.
But where is he? Where?
No one to come to his aid, nothing to console him but the thought of his one good deed.
Stop it, you're hurting her.
Throwing himself into the flames for a girl he'd never
You'll
met.
handle her if you carry on like this.
And that's how you could have killed him with your harmless fantasies. Rachel, this is medicine, not poison. He lives. He's not sick, he's quite well.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
How'd you know?
Because God rewards the good we do on earth as well. And you must learn this. Dreams are easy. Deeds are hard. Imagine angels all you like, but let them inspire you to action, not distract you from it.
Please don't leave me on my own again.
You're not alone. You have Dea. There's a Muslim out there eyeing up my camels. Do either of you know him?
That's your dervish.
No, it is.
Your chess companion.
Al-Hafi, but look at what he's wearing.
He's got a job. He's the
Oh.
Sultan's treasurer now.
Have you gone mad? Al-Hafi. Oh, but he's coming inside. Indoors with you both. Bench.
Oh, go on. Feast your eyes.
So I'm wondering who it is. Do I know any dervishes who dress so splendidly?
Can a dervish hold no place in the world?
I thought the place of the true dervish was outside the world.
That by the prophet I may be no true dervish, but when one is compelled.
Compelled. How does one compel a dervish?
Well, that's easy. You ask him to do something he believes will benefit people.
Then, by our mutual God, embrace me, and welcome to the world.
You might want to first ask what my new
Oh.
position in the world is.
I can't think I care.
Even if it might make this friendship awkward for you.
I'll risk it, if at heart you're still a dervish. And besides, it's nice to see you dressed for a change.
These are my official robes.
If you say so.
Well, then tell me, great Nathan, if you were Sultan, what post could I expect in your court?
That's easy. You'd be my dervish. All right, if you must. My cook.
Cook!
You'd be a good cook.
Why not footman while you're about it? And call yourself a friend. You know, the real Sultan knows me better. He has made me his treasurer.
He's let a dervish loose in his accounts.
Oh, just the household. His father controls the
But
exchequer.
still, the Sultan's household is not small.
Well, not when every beggar in the city belongs to it.
I thought Saladin hated beggars.
He does, but he's been buying them off the streets. And at such a rate, he'll be a beggar himself before long. So what do you say, friend? Have I made a mistake?
I don't know. What does he pay you?
Me, not much, but to you, he could be very profitable.
How so?
You see, there is a shipment of gold coming from Egypt tomorrow. Problem is, it's been coming tomorrow since the day I took the job. And in the meantime, he has been running up debts like there is no tomorrow. So if you offered to tide him over, in the meantime, you could charge him whatever interest you like until tomorrow comes.
And interest on the interest.
Oh, well, naturally.
Oh, and interest on that interest.
Of course.
Oh, and interest on the interest on that interest.
Why not?
Until all my capital has been turned to interest. Al-Hafi, I'm not interested.
Then we'd best not see each other again.
So why not?
Because I was counting on you.
To do what?
To get me through this job with honor. Nathan, your purse has never been closed to me before.
My friend, let's understand each other. To Al-Hafi, the dervish, I would give everything I own. But to Al-Hafi, the keeper of Saladin's household account,
You're kind as you are shrewd. You're shrewd as you are wise, it is as I feared, but trust me, friend. Before these robes have faded, I will leave them on a peg here in Jerusalem, and I will be barefoot beside the Ganges with my teachers.
That's the Al-Hafi I know.
And I'll be playing chess with them too.
What else? But whatever possessed you to become his treasurer?
What tempted me, you mean? You see, in the desert I would sit, while wise elders told me the world is going to the bad because it lacks honest minds. No wonder I thought, because we're all sitting here in the desert talking about it. But if it was so easy to prevent evil as they taught, and so simple to promote good, then we ought to do something. So I came to the city, I watched, and I learned, and I took a job.
A job, yes, but with Saladin.
What can I say? He flattered me. For the first time in my life, I was flattered.
How?
He told me,
Only one who has begged knows what beggars need. Only one who has begged knows how beggars should best be supported.
see, the last treasurer was too cold for his liking. He was stingy and didn't smile enough.
Al-Hafi will be different. When Al-Hafi is in charge, not only will Saladin be generous, he will be seen to be generous. Because Al-Hafi thinks like me, Al-Hafi understands like me.
The hypocrite.
Careful, my friend.
What would you call it, then, to oppress 100,000, to starve them, rob them, torture them, murder them, and then play the philanthropist to one or two, and that's not all.
It is enough.
No, you see, I'm just as bad. He corrupts, and I seek the glimmer of good in his corruption. And because of that tiny gleam, I lend to his corruption my good name. Is that not hypocritical? Or worse? Well,
Al-Hafi, go back to the desert as soon as you can. Amongst men, I fear you'll soon forget to be a man.
so do I. Goodbye.
Oh, what? Oh, no. The desert will wait. I want to talk, Al-Hafi. I wanted to ask him about the Templar.
Nathan.
Yes, he's back. Who?
Him.
The angel?
In the palm grove. He's eating dates.
What? Like a man?
Please. She wants you to go and see him. But you'll need to hurry.
Now? Well, I can't. I'm not. You must go. Tell him I've returned. Oh, tell him Rachel's father is home and that he is most welcome.
No point, Nathan. He's not going to come. He won't visit a Jew.
Then try to keep him there. Or see where he goes to. I'll be out as soon as I can.
Good brother, or should I say father?
No, brother is correct. Lay brother.
I wish I had something to give you, but God knows I have nothing.
Thank you, and may God reward your intent. But I was not sent out here to ask you for alms.
I see. But you were sent.
Yes, from the cloister.
The same cloister that just refused me the pilgrim's ration.
Indeed, but if you care to return with me now,
Thanks, but it's been so long since I've eaten meat, I don't know if I can stomach it. Besides, these dates are going down a treat. So, why were you sent?
to get to know you, to find out what sort of man you are.
You see. And who's interested? Not you, I guess.
The patriarch, I would imagine. It was his instruction.
You can tell the patriarch that I'm a Knight Templar, and I was taken prisoner here in the attack on Midland. 20 of our order were brought here, and only one of us was pardoned by Saladin. So now the patriarch knows all he needs to know. More, probably.
Though no more than he knew already. What he would like to know is what it means that Saladin pardoned you. and you alone.
You think I know the answer? I'm on my knees, neck bared, awaiting the blow, when Saladin's eyes fix on me. He rushes to my side. I'm stood up, my hands are untied. I'm about to thank him, and he's crying. He's crying. He says nothing. I say nothing. He goes, and I'm left. What it means, the patriarch will have to work out for himself.
He concludes from this that God has marked you out for great things.
What, like escorting pilgrims to Mount Sinai? Oh, saving Jewish girls from house fires.
It will become clear. Maybe the patriarch has a task, which is out of the ordinary.
He does. Go on.
The patriarch has determined the location of a fortress in Lebanon, where Saladin's father is accumulating the sums necessary to finance the forthcoming conflict. Saladin is known to visit this fortress from time to time, traveling at night by isolated roads with little escort. Do you follow?
Never better.
It would be easy to overpower him and put an end to his journey.
And the patriarch thought that I would be the man to do this. Well, you should remind the patriarch that I've sworn allegiance to a sacred and monastic rule, pledged to fight and die for our Lord Jesus Christ.
Exactly! Such a sacrifice would, in the eyes of God, be worthy of the most particular reward in heaven.
Were you listening to me when I told you what Saladin had done for me?
I was.
And you still think
The
that...
patriarch believes that the whole fate of Christendom hangs upon this deed, that God and your order
should sanctify butchery.
indeed not. But what is butchery in the eyes of men may not, says the patriarch, appear so to God.
And you believe that God wishes me to murder the man who spared my life.
Remember, Saladin remains an enemy to Christendom and can never be your friend.
So what, I should just stab him in the back?
The patriarch sympathizes with your emotion, but gratitude, the patriarch believes, is only due when the deed was directed at us personally. In your case, it is said that you were pardoned simply because you reminded Saladin of his brother, not for any virtue of your own.
Get out of here. Get out of here or I'll lose my temper with you. Go!
Forgive me, sir, these were simply the patriarch's instructions.
Oh, splendid. You're the saying in Swabia, the devil always comes in pairs.
I've been looking for you everywhere. Oh, thank God, sir. Thank God. Where have you been all this time? You've not been sick.
No.
You're quite well?
Yes.
Oh, because we've all been so worried.
Have you?
You've been away.
It would seem so.
When did you get back?
Yesterday.
Our Rachel's father has returned too, today from Babylon. So perhaps now Rachel can look forward to what we've asked you so often. And now her father's there to welcome you. He urges you to call whenever you like. He's come home with 20 camels laden with spices, gems, fabrics, the best you'll find in India, Persia, Syria, China.
There's nothing I need.
Do you know that his people treat him like royalty? Though why they call him Nathan the Wise rather than Nathan the Rich, I've never understood.
Perhaps to his people, rich and wise are the same thing.
What they ought to call him is Nathan the Good. If he wasn't a good man, do you think I would have stayed with him? Or do you think I'd forgotten my proper worth as a Christian? If I'd known I was going to follow my late husband to Palestine and there raise up a little Jewish girl. Have I told you about my husband? He was a good Christian. He served in the Emperor Friedrich's army.
He came from Switzerland and had the great privilege of being drowned in the same river as the emperor. Oh, why do you keep on pestering me?
Oh, thank Jesus, being pester.
Yes, listen. I don't want to see you ever again. Or hear you. Or ever reminded of a deed which I did without thinking. And when I think about it now, it seems to me utterly without reason. I don't regret it, but if it happened again, it'd be your fault if I didn't ask a few questions first. And maybe let what's burning burn.
God
So
forbid.
if you want to do something for me, I suggest you never set eyes on me again. And for God's sake, do not send her father. A Jew is a Jew. In Swabia, we speak as we find. Look, I've wiped the girl's image from my memory. If it was ever even
Oh,
there.
but she has not forgotten you.
Why? What's she expecting to happen?
Who knows? People are not always what they seem to be.
They're seldom better.
No, don't frown.
Woman, this grove has been my only refuge in this cursed city. But if I stay any longer, you will make me hate it.
German bear.
Where is your head today, Saladin? Not at chess, that's clear.
I give up. Sit up. You win. Tell Al Happy to give you the money. Where is he? I thought I called him. Why do we have to play with these faceless pieces? I know. Because it is written. But I'm not playing with an imam, and I can never tell which is which. When the Lionheart and I play together, we shall... No. It's not the pieces, Sita. They're too calm, too quick
Dear
to die.
brother, when are we ever going to be able to play properly again?
You think this is about the jihad? No. But it wasn't me who broke the truce. I was ready to extend it. I long to see my little sister matched with a good husband, and Richard's brother would have been a good husband.
Oh, naturally, because he's Richard's brother, and everything about the Lionheart is perfect.
And Malik would have married Richard's sister, and together we would have shaped the greatest family on earth. You see, I like to think I'm worthy of my friends. We would have been the pillars of the world.
Dreams, brother, of honorable Christians that behave like men. When will you learn they're Christians first and only men after? Their prophet was a good enough man. If for once they'd copy his goodness instead of blindly following his name. But in the name of Christ, they'll defame and destroy every other good man who ever lived.
You mean, in the name of Christ, they required you and Malik to convert?
Because of course I couldn't love my husband if I were not a Christian. Because apparently the most merciful Creator neglected to give Muslims hearts.
But this demand was not made by the Christians.
Not the Lionheart, of course.
It was the Templars.
And aren't they Christians any longer?
Not in this. The Templars want to keep Acre.
Which they bought with the blood of 3,000 Muslim prisoners.
And which the treaty would have given us. It is the old Templar game. To protect their military interests, they advance their religious status, make themselves the arbiters of all that is sacred, answerable only to their order and to the Pope. Then, having wrecked the treaty, they're soldiers again, and attack Teton before the truce is even cold. But soldiers are monks, they can still die like men.
But if it's not the truce, what is gnawing at you?
One never ceases to.
I've been in Lebanon with our father. He's despairing.
What can we do? What does he need?
The one thing I cannot bring myself to name. Money. When we have it, it seems an encumbrance. When we lack it, indispensable. And speak of the devil, we've been calling you.
It's the gold from Egypt, isn't it? It's come! Where is it? I thought you had it. I thought that was why you'd sent for me.
No!
So it didn't come today.
You're the treasurer!
Dear.
It will come. It is coming tomorrow. And in the meantime, you owe Sitar 1,000 dinars.
What's that?
I'm not interested.
You lost again, I take it. And to sit up. Always to sit up.
Is there something wrong with that?
You know as well as I do. Is this the game you were white?
Yusuf, tell him I can have my money.
You get your money, you always do. Now, it's his move.
Are you mad?
Oh, the game's not over.
Pay her.
Now, you see your queen.
There's nothing I can do with her.
Give me my
A
money.
moment! Now, your queen may be important, but it's not me.
It is.
No, you see,
It is because I want it to be.
Well, throw your money away, why don't you then? As if you had any.
What's he saying?
Oh, you know Al-Hafi always wants to be the center of attention, and he loves to see me beg. But he always pays in the end, don't you?
No, I'm sorry, I can't play this farce any longer. He must know the truth.
Who? What?
Al-Hafi, you promised
I
me.
never expected it to go on this long.
What must I know?
It's nothing, brother. Don't let it bother you.
Sitar.
All right. You know, I'm always beating you at chess.
Not.
Yes, I am. But I don't need the money. Not at the moment. Whereas you. So I said, Al-Hafi, leave the money where it is. But don't think you're keeping it, or he is. It's just a loan, that's all.
I wish that was all.
What else is there? Tell me.
You see, while we've been waiting for the caravan loaded with gold to appear from Egypt, she has...
Don't listen to him, brother.
Not only has she not taken anything, but...
You wonderful girl! You've been paying me out of your account, haven't you?
she's been supporting all of your personal expenses as well as the entire household.
My dear little sister.
But, brother, it was you who made me rich enough to do it in the first place.
And who will in due course leave her as poor as he has himself.
Poor? How can I be poor and have such a sister? When have I had more than I have now? When have I needed less? The shirt on my back, a sword, a horse, and God. What more do I need? These will never fail me. And yes, Al-Hafi, I could be angry with you.
Brother, let's leave this.
No, surely there was someone else you could turn to before Sita.
Do you think I would let anyone else have the privilege of lending to you? I won't. Not until you've taken my last dinar.
That won't be long now.
Then, Al-Hafi, it's down to you. You must borrow what you can from whomever you can at whatever price.
And where would you suggest I start?
What about your friend? I hear he's returned from Babylon.
My friend? Now, who is that?
The Jew whose praises you were singing the other day.
A Jew praised by me, will I ask?
To whom God? I think I can remember the exact words you used.
to whom his God has given a lion's share of both the best and worst of good things.
Are you sure I said that I had no idea what it
The
means?
worst is riches, the best wisdom.
Yes, are you sure I said that about a Jew?
About your friend, Nathan.
Oh, Nathan! Oh, right, and he's home, is he? Well, it's true, they don't call him the wise for nothing. The rich?
The rich they call him more than ever. The whole city's abuzz with the treasures he's brought home. You should pay him a visit.
To borrow money? From Nathan? Oh, no, you see, that's why he's so wise. He never lends money to anybody.
That's not the impression you gave me.
Look, I may have said that in times of crisis he would lend stock, merchandise, gifts in kind, but money, never. He's not altogether like other Jews. He's broad-minded, lives life to the full. He plays a mean game of chess. He is a loyal friend in bad times and in good, but by the prophet, never expect to see the inside of his purse.
Not even to allow solid deed to support his good causes.
No, not even then.
Why have I never heard of this man before?
Oh, look, there are other doors I would sooner knock on than Nathan's, and come to think of it, there is a Moor who is very well off, always greedy for a little extra. You know, if I leave right now, I might just be...
Let him go.
What do you think that was about? Has his Jew deceived him? Or is he trying to deceive us?
Since I haven't the first idea who the two of you were discussing,
All you need to know about him is he's got money.
which I will not have taken from him by force.
Depends what you mean by force. Putting a knife to his throat? Burning his house down? No. He may be wise, but he will have a weakness. We need to find it and then exploit it. And I think I know where it might lie. Do you want to help our father or not? Then come with me.
What took you so long?
He'll be gone by now.
If he's left the Palm Grove, we'll find him somewhere else. Look, there's Dea coming back now.
She's lost him then.
You don't know that.
Then why is she walking so slowly?
Rachel, calm down.
Is that what you want? A daughter who is always calm? Indifferent to the well-being of the man who saved my life?
I've never asked you to be other than you are. Though I think it's more than his well-being that's got you so heated.
What do you mean?
There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nature. Only promise you won't hide your feelings from me, whatever you decide. So, he's pacing again, up and down under the palm trees.
Did you speak to him?
I should talk to him alone. You two go inside.
But I want to see him up close.
Not yet. Oh, look, he's coming this way. Quick, indoors.
Come on, there's a window on the roof where we can...
I know.
Excuse me, sir.
What?
If you wouldn't mind,
What is it, Jew?
I'd like to talk.
Can I prevent you?
Please, I am forever in your debt.
Ah, then I think...
My name is Nathan, and the girl you saved is my daughter. I want...
To thank me? Save your breath. I've endured sufficient thanks already. And besides, I didn't save her because she was your daughter. It is my duty as Templar. And at the moment, my life had become a sort of burden to me, so I was overjoyed to gamble it for someone else's. Even even if that someone did turn out to be a Jew.
So gallant and so full of hate. And though you wouldn't be the first, there's no need to make yourself a demon just to shield yourself from praise. What do you want then? Forgive me, but you are a prisoner in a foreign land, and I'm sure there must be something I can do to help.
You? No, I don't think so.
I'm a rich man,
I never met a Jew who was the better for being rich.
so why not exploit him for his riches?
If you insist. Then I accept your offer on behalf of my uniform. When it's damaged beyond repair, I'll look you up and you can lend me the money for a new one. Don't look so disappointed. Life in the old thing yet? See, just one mark upon the cloak. It's singed. Must have been while I was carrying your daughter.
Strange that a cloak should be more eloquent of a man's worth than his own words. Please forgive me.
What?
A tear fell on me.
Please, it doesn't matter. It's seen worse.
Might I borrow this?
Why?
I should like to show it to my daughter very much.
Why so?
To let her kiss it. She longs to offer you her heartfelt thanks for what you did. But now I see that she must yearn in vain.
Jew... Nathan, you said your name was... I should explain.
I understand. There she was, an excitable young woman, a servant, all too eager to be of service, and a father far from home. You were afraid, I think. You feared temptation, feared you could not master it. And for that, I thank you.
I must confess you recognize the way a Templar's trained to think.
Why only Templars? And why do they need this training? I recognize how good people think, and how good people act, no matter where they come from.
You think that all good people are the same.
Oh, they wear different clothes and come in many shapes and colors.
And there are more here than other lands.
About the same. Great men, wherever, require a lot of space. You plant too many close together, and they'll break each other's branches. But men like us, the ones who are good enough, we spring up all over in thick clumps. So we must learn how to muddle through, how not to break each other's branches, because no one of us has the earth to himself.
Fine words. But which nation was the first to set itself apart? To say, we are the chosen people. Well, Nathan, it may not be grounds for hatred, I admit, but can't I still condemn you for your pride? The pride with which you have infected Christian and Muslim alike to say, my God alone is right. You're shocked to hear me talk like this. A Christian, a Templar, and in Jerusalem too. But this mania of claiming our God's the best and then stamping his claim upon our brothers, where and when has this been seen more catastrophically than here and now within Jerusalem, the city of peace? But the blind are in love with their blindness, and please forget every word I've said and leave me alone.
No! Now I will cling to you and never let you leave. We must be friends. Despise my nation all you like. We neither of us chose our people. Must Jews and Christians be always Jews and Christians and only humans afterwards? Or, like me, will you stand here and say it is enough to be a man?
I will, Nathan. I do. Forgive me for misjudging you.
I'm proud you did. It's only the commonplace we never misjudge.
Common you are not. We will be friends.
And so we are. And we will make Rachel very, very happy. So who's to say how this will end? But you must meet her first and get to know her.
I'm impatient.
Nathan.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me, sir.
Please.
What's wrong?
The Sultan, Saladin. He's asked to see you.
Are you sure?
Sweet Jesus, yes.
The Sultan, he'll want to see the merchandise I bought in Babylon. He's curious, but I thought
No, he doesn't want to look at anything. He wants to speak to you as soon as possible.
I'll come. Go in, I'll come.
You must forgive us, sir. Dear God,
What can he want? We'll find out soon enough.
You know him. The Sultan.
Not in person. I haven't avoided him, but then I haven't sought an audience. Some people say good things. I've no cause to doubt them. And look, he pardoned you, so he can't be all bad.
It's true. I'm his debtor for my life.
And so I'm doubly, triply in his debt.
I'm still his prisoner and await his final sentence.
Well, maybe I'll have a chance to speak on your behalf. I should go. You'll come and visit us, and soon?
As is convenient.
You decide.
Today.
Today is good. And I suppose that I should ask your name.
My name is Conrad von Stauffen.
Von Stauffen?
Yes, is something wrong?
No, I'm sure there must be many von Stauffen.
There are. And many came east and many now brought here. My uncle lies in Gaza. I mean my father. Why do you stare at me?
Oh, sorry. It's nothing. My friend, I think I'll never tire of looking at you.
I shall leave you, Nathan. Stare too long and you might see more than you desire. That I would regret. Let time confirm our friendship.
Stare too long, you might see more than you desire. You must have read my mind, young Stauffen. But how could this be? And yet, they look the same. The walk, the voice, the way that Wolf would hold his head, would shield his eyes. As if Wolf stood before me, conjured by a name. Von Stauffen. What angels or demons are working here? I need to learn more. But first, the Sultan.
well, what did he say?
Tell Rachel to expect him at any minute.
Really?
Really? Yes. But Dea, let me handle this in my own way. Is that clear?
All right. And look, the Sultan sent for you again.
I'm happy. He didn't need to send you as well.
Who?
The Sultan, I have said already, I'm coming.
To the palace?
Yes. He didn't send you.
No, but if you're going already,
He summoned me 5 minutes, not that.
then it's done.
What is? What's done?
It's not my fault. God knows it's not my fault, Nathan. I tried to lead them off your scent. I did. You heard the lies I told you.
Will you stop this gibberish?
So he's got you then.
What do you mean?
You're going to lend him the money.
Oh, so that's what this is about?
Nathan, I know you. You think that if you lend him the money, Saladin will welcome your advice. But when has Saladin sought anyone's opinion ever? I mean, take what happened to me just now.
What's that?
When I had arrived, his sister had beaten him at chess, or so he had said. He played for money, you see, and she's not that bad. The endgame was still on the board when I get there, so you know me, I have a look, and well, he hadn't lost at all.
No, well spotted.
He just had to move his queen behind a pawn. I can show you if we had a board.
Well, I'll take your word for it.
It would free up his rook, and then it's mated 3. I tried to tell him, but
He didn't share your view.
he wouldn't even listen. He throws the board down in a fit. He says it's his choice if he's in mate or not. I mean,
It does.
what kind of a way is that to play?
Well, it's not the way we play, that's for sure.
And the stakes aren't nothing. It's 1,000 dinars.
But what's that compared to the crime of disregarding the dervish? Oh, and on an issue of such incalculable weight, that cries out for vengeance.
All right. I came to warn you about the type of man you're going to meet, that's all. I forgot even King Solomon in all of his glory wasn't so wise as for you. Look, trust him if you want to. I wouldn't. And sit up. Even less. He may be an old lion, but his teeth are still sharp. I wish you well. Oh, and if he asks, you haven't seen me.
Well, Nathan, into the lion's den you go. And may the God of Daniel be with you.
Were those my father's actual words? Expect him at any moment? That has to be. I mean, it must. That he be here very soon, if not at once. But all these moments have come and gone, and where is he?
Oh, Nathan would have brought him in himself if the damned Sultan hadn't summoned him.
I must not cling to the moments that have passed. I'll live for the ones to come. One of them must bring him to me. But when it does, when my most heartfelt wish has been fulfilled, what then?
I'll hope for the fulfillment of my own.
What's that?
To see you settled as a European bride.
Dea, you're wrong. I don't want that. Europe may be your home, but this is mine.
Say what you like, but heaven has its ways. Suppose his God, the God your Templar is fighting for, intends through him to lead you to the land that you were born for.
What are you saying? Sometimes I wonder what gets into you. His God? Who can own God? The God he's fighting for? And what sort of God is it that needs people to fight for him? Not to mention, how can I or anyone else be sure which patch of earth we were born for? It's not the one we were born on. Keep your superstitions to yourself. You've embarrassed me enough with all that angel nonsense. I can hardly look Father in the eye.
Oh yes, you won't find a reason anywhere but under this roof. Well, I could tell a tale or two.
Go on then.
The door.
It must be him.
Come in.
Excuse me, but your
Oh,
father said...
come in. We've been expecting. This is Rachel.
Please, the reason that I haven't come before is to avoid precisely this. You must not...
Kneeling before the man who rescued me, I give my thanks to God and not the man. I didn't think the bucket, which so ably let itself be filled and emptied, never giving me the slightest thought. So why him? He just found himself diving into the fire, where, quite by accident, I dropped into his arms and happened to stick there, like a pit of ash or cinder wood, until one thing or another swept us both to safety. No point in thanking him for that. In Swabia, a beer will inspire a man to more heroic deeds. And anyhow, those Templars do all that in basic training, like the battle class of Hound is taught to fetch from fire as well as water.
There were times when through grief or bitterness I lost my temper. Did you have to relay every stupid word I said?
I don't think there's lasting damage.
Tell me about this grief that dogs you. Why do you hug it closer than your life?
I wish I could. But are you sure you're the same girl that I rescued from the fire?
Why? Have I changed?
No, I just mean I wonder why there weren't 100 men all diving in after you. The boys you grew up with, the Jewish boys, where were they? Who could know you and not try to save you? Why did they wait for me? I think that fear distorts things, yes?
To me, you look the same as you did then.
I do? I do. That's good.
So, tell me where you've been these past few days. Or perhaps I should ask where you are now.
I think I am perhaps where I should not be.
What do you mean?
I mean that he was right, Rachel, that once I got to know him...
What, who said that?
Nathan, I should go and find him.
Why, he's at the palace.
Still, no, he can't be. I told him I'd meet him at the cloister. Idiot, I bet he's waiting for me. I should go and find him.
Wait, I'll go and you can stay with
No,
Rachel.
he'll be expecting me. Besides, we don't know what has happened at the palace. It could be dangerous.
For who?
For me, for you, for him, I have to go myself. Forgive me.
Teo, what's wrong? What did I do to make him run off like this?
Oh, have no worries. That's a good sign.
It is?
Something's going on inside. Something simmering which can't come to the boil. But give him time. And how do you feel now your wish has been fulfilled?
I don't know. Calm? Calmer. I mean, I know that I will always love him. That he's dearer to me than my own life. But my pulse no longer races at the mention of his name. My heart stopped pounding at the thought of him. Come on, I'm going back up to the roof. I just want to look at the palm trees.
Your Jew seems in no hurry to get here.
Maybe he's out. They couldn't find him. Don't be hasty. If we play this rashly, it won't work. Nathan's reputation rests upon his wisdom. That's the trap. All you need to do is ask the question calmly. Whatever way he answers, he chants win. If he says Jew, then he insults you. Muslim, why is he a Jew? I think we can assume he won't say Christian.
Sister,
It's not a duel.
It is. With weapons I don't understand. Guile and subterfuge. And all to scare some Jew into surrendering his gold?
If you don't want to do it, I will.
No, I should meet him. But what if he's a decent man? I thought you said he was our Happy's friend.
If so, we have no worries. We trap the skulking, stingy Jew. The wise man's ours already. And think of the satisfaction you'll get from watching a truly nimble mind at work. You love all that philosophy, the cunning wit, the painstaking unpicking of an argument.
You're right. I do. So by the prophets may he be the man they say. For all our sakes. You'd better leave me now. I need some time to think.
But I was going,
To stay
if not here, then in the room next door.
and spy on me? No. If I'm doing this, I do it on my own, without your help. I can hear the outer doors. You'd better go. Trust me. My friend the Jew! Come in! Don't look so wary. I don't bite.
Except your enemies.
Nathan?
Yes?
Nathan the Wise.
No.
Of course, it's not a name you give yourself, but people do.
Some people, maybe.
And you think we should ignore the people's voice? It has long been my ambition to receive the man they call the wise.
And what if it's a joke at his expense? By wise, they mean he always has an eye on his own interest.
But if he understands what truly serves his interest, isn't that a kind of wisdom?
If wisdom's only selfishness in robes, then yes.
Come, let's leave false modesty behind and get to business. You have traveled widely.
Sultan, I am at your service. Whatever you require, we'll endeavor to supply it. Our prices aren't the cheapest, but the quality is unbeatable.
No, my sister handles all that. I never deal with tradesmen. What I want to know is, from your travels, what you've learned.
Of enemy maneuvers? Well, if I can speak in confidence.
No, I have spies enough. That isn't why I asked you here. Nathan,
Here I stand. Command me.
I seek your instruction. You are wise, you've traveled, seen the world. Now tell me this. Which code, which law, which faith have you found most enlightening?
Sultan, I'm a Jew.
And I'm a Muslim. Between us there is Christendom. Of these three, only one can be the true religion. A man who thinks about the world like you doesn't stay where accident of birth has cast him. He looks around, considers all the options. And if he then comes home, he does it with the knowledge that it is best. So share your insight with me, Nathan. Let me hear the proofs I've not had time or wit to fashion for myself. Tell me. In the strictest confidence to choice they have led you to. And I will make that choice my own. You're shocked, or simply wondering why I've asked the question? I am not the first ruler to have ever sought the truth. It seems to me the kind of thing a ruler ought to know. So tell me, speak. Lord, would you like a moment to collect your thoughts? Take it. Think it over.
I came prepared to give him money. What he wants is truth. The truth. And wants it handed out like money. Like something you can jingle in your purse. Maybe it is. Maybe the truth's just a coin whose value's weighed and stamped upon it beneath the portrait of a king. And why do I assume he's not sincere? Because he's a Muslim and I'm a Jew? Or because his armies occupy my lands? Prejudice or common sense? So what's your answer, Nathan? Play the orthodox and risk his wrath? Deny your race and chance the question, then? Why aren't you a Muslim? These won't work. It needs another path. It needs another kind of answer. Is that it? Is that the way? A child's fable to bewitch a sultan.
Am I back too soon? Do you need more time?
No, I'm ready.
So speak. There's not a soul to hear us.
I'd be happy if the whole world could hear us.
That is what I call wisdom. The wise man never hides the truth. He'll shout it from the rooftops. He'll stake his life upon it.
If he must. But first I'd like to share a little story, if there's time.
There's always time to hear a story, if the storyteller's good.
Well, that I can't guarantee.
False modesty, again. Come, let's begin.
Once, in the East, there lived a man who owned a ring of unimaginable worth. It bore a jewel in which 1,000 colors played, and which had the power to make the wearer loved by all people and by God. No wonder that this man would never let it leave his finger, or that he resolved that it should never leave his family. He bequeathed it to his favorite son, and with it the instruction that he, in turn, should pass it to his favorite son, and that, henceforth, ignoring all priority of birth, the favorite son should be the master of the house by virtue of the power of the ring. Do you follow?
Yes, go on.
From favorite son to favorite son, the ring passed down the ages till it came to a man who had 3 sons, all equally obedient, all equally attentive, all equally loved by their father. And so, according to which son pleased him most, at the end of a long day spent riding or talking with the embers dying in the grate, one by one he pledges the ring to each. Death approaches, and now the father is dismayed. He cannot bear to think that 2 of his sons have trusted him, and now must be denied. So he sends in secret for a jeweler, and commissions him to make 2 copies, sparing neither cost nor effort, till they are identical with the true ring. The jeweler obeys, and when the rings are brought, even the father can't tell which is the original and which the fake. Joyfully, he summons his sons one by one and gives to each his blessing and his ring. And so he dies. Are you with me still?
Yes, and I want to know the end. What happened?
That's it. I've reached the end. What happened next is predictable. The father has scarcely breathed his last before each son comes with his ring and claims to be the master of the house. Well, they haggle, they argue, they fight in vain. No one can prove which is the true ring, just as today, no one can prove which is the true faith.
And that's your answer to my question?
No, it's my excuse for not being able to distinguish between 3 rings, which the father had contrived to be indistinguishable.
I'm not a child, Jew. The 3 religions which I named to you are quite distinct. In liturgy, in dress, in food.
Superficially, of course. But all 3 have equally their roots in history, in memory, in things which were written or handed down, such things as must be taken on trust. Faith. And whose faith do we trust the most? Our own, of course. The faith that we were raised in. The faith that runs in our blood and in the blood of those who loved us since we were children and who have never deceived us unless for our own good. Why should I trust my ancestors less than you yours? Or vice versa? How can I demand that you denounce yours simply so that mine are vindicated? Or vice versa?
Agreed.
But still, you want an answer. Let me return to our rings. As I said, the brothers argued. They brought the case before a judge. Each made a statement, swearing that he'd received the ring directly from the father's hand, which was true. That the father had promised him the ring at the end of a long day spent riding or talking with the embers dying in the grate, etc. Which was also true. And each declared the father couldn't possibly have deceived him. revenge.
And what did the judge say? That's what we want to know.
The judge said this. This case will only be resolved if you can bring your father to the witness stand, which you can't. Or if the true ring makes a statement, which seems unlikely. Failing that, I must dismiss this case. Oh, but wait! I've heard the power of this ring is to make the wearer loved by God and by all people. Maybe that's your clue. The false rings could not do this. So, think. Which brother do the other brothers love the most? Tell me. Or does each brother only love himself? If so, then you're all deceived, and all your rings are false. Maybe the true ring was mislaid, and your father had these 3 made as a replacement.
Very good.
And so, the judge went on. If what you want's a verdict, you must go elsewhere. But, if you'll take advice, I'll give you this. Accept the situation as it is. Each of you has a ring from your father. Have faith that it's the true one. Maybe this was your father's plan all along, to end the tyranny of a single ring. It's clear he loved you all and loved you equally. Why should he disadvantage 2 by favoring 1? You could do worse than follow his example. Strive towards such unprejudiced affection in yourselves. Vie with each other to prove the power of your ring through gentleness, tolerance, charity, and a deep humility before the love of God. And if after 1,000 years the power of your ring still shines amongst your children's children's children, then I'll summon you again before this judgment seat. A wiser man than I shall then preside, and he will give his verdict.
God.
These were the words of the modest judge.
God is merciful.
If you believe yourself to be this promised wiser judge,
I am dust. I am nothing.
Sultan, what is it?
Nathan, your judge's 1,000 years have not yet passed. His judgment seat is not mine. You may go, but forever be my friend.
Nothing more to ask me?
No,
You're sure?
nothing at all. Why do you ask?
I hoped to beg a favor.
There's no need to beg.
As you may know, I returned from Babylon today, collecting debts as I came. Now I've all this money in the house. Well, I don't know what to do with it. The times grow more uncertain. I was thinking, war is an expensive business. Maybe you could put it to good use.
Has unhappy been to see you? No. No, I won't ask. I accept your offer in the spirit that is given.
I'd lend you all of it, but I've promised something to the young Templar.
The Templar? Are you funding my enemies as well?
I meant the man whose life you spared.
Him? How do you know him?
You haven't heard how I benefited from your compassion? Hardly had you spared his life, then he was risking it to save my daughter from a fire.
He was he? He seemed like the kind who might. My brother Assad would have done the same. They are alike in many ways. So, where is he now, this Templar? Can you bring him here? My sister never knew our brother, but I talked so much about him, I at least should let her meet his twin. Please, fetch him. He saved your daughter, did he? From one good deed, how many others flow?
I'll find him. And the rest as we agree?
I should have let Sita stay. How on earth am I going to tell her about all this?
Here, the dead man rests his bones. I've had enough of trying to make sense of how I feel. I daren't imagine what will come. I ran away. I ran away. But what else could I do? To see the girl that I never wish to see again, and in a flash to feel bound to her, woven in her being. To live apart from her is death. And in whatever place we go after death, there is still death. So I'm in love. A Templar is in love. A Christian loves a Jew. But what do you expect? This is the promised land, and I have lost a legion of prejudice. As Templar, I am dead. The order's grip is loosed. But then again, I was dead from the moment I was captured, and the life that Saladin returned to me was not my own. It is another man who leaves the scaffold, a man free from all I've been taught, of all I've lived. A man more like my father. For I stand under the same sky, on the same earth where he once stood, and all the stories of him are alive. They must be true. For I've fallen where he fell. What more incitement do I need to love Rachel? Nathan's approval. That won't be hard to win. Nathan, you look so happy. And then again, doesn't everyone leaving Saladin?
You're here. Good. He wants to see you as soon as possible. We'll go together. But there's something I need to do for him at home first. So come in.
I can't.
I'll only be a moment.
I can't enter your house again.
You've been in already? Well, you've seen Rachel. Well, how did it go? Did you like her?
Beyond all words, but I can never see her again.
Why not?
Not unless you promise me this instant that I shall gaze upon her always.
Ah, I see.
Father.
Oh, please, young man.
Not son. Nathan.
My dear young man.
Say, son, please, Nathan, I beg you. Must Jews and Christians be firstly Jews and Christians and only humans after? Won't you say it is enough to be a man? Don't turn me away.
My dear friend.
Say, son, why not son?
You surprised me. I need to think.
This was your idea. You wanted us to get to know each other. How can you be surprised?
There's something I need to ask you. There's something I need to know. You said your father's name was Stauffen?
Yes, but what's my father matter? Judge me for myself.
You see, I've met a Stauffen once before.
So?
Whose name was also Conrad.
And what if that's my father's name?
Wasn't. You must tell me.
I was named after my father, Conrad von
And
Stauffen.
then these are different men. My Conrad was like you, a Templar, and so never married.
I need not have prevented him from being my father.
You're joking.
And you are quick to disapprove. But if you'll inquire no further into my pedigree, then I won't inquire into yours. Not that I'm suggesting anything's wrong with it. God forbid. I bet your family tree has every leaf accounted for, all the way back to Abraham, and before, probably.
What have I done to provoke this? Why are you so angry with me? I need time. That's all. I need certain information which you have given me. Now please come in. We'll talk more about this later. The Sultan's waiting.
I can't. Not unless you give me your word. There's a fire in there.
As you wish. Wait here.
If I see her again, then I must see her always. If not, I've already gazed too long.
Sir,
Who's that?
come over here. They'll see us where you are.
Dale, what's the matter? Why this secrecy?
I have a secret. Yes. And so do you. You tell me yours, and I'll tell you mine.
Gladly. But I don't know what you think my secret is, so you'll have to tell me yours first.
No, that won't work. My secret's no use to you until you've told me yours.
Right. So, what do we do? I'm not in the mood for games.
Very well. Tell me this. Why did you vanish so suddenly, with no explanation, left us sitting there? And why wouldn't you come in with Nathan now? Is it because Rachel doesn't appeal to you, or because she appeals too much? Please, please tell me that's it. Tell me you love her to distraction.
Distraction. It took madness itself.
Yes, tell me about it, the love, the madness I can imagine.
Because it's obviously mad, a Templar loving a Jew.
Shouldn't happen, should it? Welcome to the land of miracles.
And what else could it be when all the peoples of the earth are crammed together here? Yes, if that's what you wanted to hear, then I love her. And I have no idea how to live without her. So, what was it you wanted to tell me?
No, first you must swear to me that you will marry her.
I can't.
You must swear that, and you will save her once again. Not only in this life, but for all eternity.
I can't swear it because it isn't in my power.
It is.
Why? Has Nathan changed his mind?
I don't understand. You've already approached him?
Just now.
What happened?
Lost my temper.
With him? Why? How?
Let's just say we weren't singing from the same sheet.
Are you telling me that you showed even the slightest interest in Rachel and he didn't jump for joy?
He insulted me.
And you will have to know. I can keep silent no longer. Rachel is not a Jew. She was born a Christian, to Christian parents, baptized by them.
And Nathan is...
Not her father.
Are you certain?
It's a truth that has cost me tears of blood. Nathan is not her father.
But he raised her as his daughter, and he raised a Christian child as a Jew?
Yes.
Nathan, how could you be guilty of such perversion? This, something must be done. I don't know what I should do. You should go. He'll be out again soon, and he shouldn't see us together. Go.
He would kill me. He would kill me if he knew.
I can't possibly speak to him now. If you see him, tell him I'll make my own way to the palace, and I'll find him there.
No, but he mustn't see that you know anything. That could be all the excuse that he needs to...
What?
While Rachel is still in his charge, we have to be careful. That's all. But if you decide to take her to Europe with you, promise me you won't leave me behind.
We'll see. Now go, quickly.
The patriarch is never wrong. The patriarch is never wrong. So why do I fail at every task he gives me? To be honest, I wish he'd ask somebody else. I can't be subtle and persuasive. I'm no good at sticking my nose into other people's business. It isn't why I left the world behind.
Good brother, I've been looking for you.
For me,
You remember who I am?
yes, but I didn't expect to see you again. To be honest, I rather hoped I wouldn't.
What do you mean?
Only that I was a little embarrassed by our earlier meeting. But I take it you've reconsidered.
No, I haven't changed my mind about that. I've come to consult the patriarch.
What does a soldier want with a priest's advice?
There are some things that I would rather do badly by another's counsel than, well, by my own. And if I've learned nothing else here, it's that religion's about party politics. And if you try to be a lone wolf, all the packs will unite against you. So I need to know that I have someone's right by my side.
I think I'd better find the patriarch.
No, maybe I don't need to speak to him. Maybe you can be my patriarch. The situation...
Please, sir, you have the wrong man. He who knows many things has many cares. But we're in luck. Here comes the patriarch himself.
Those robes would put Saladin to shame.
Oh no, you should see him on his way to court. Today he's just been visiting the sick. Father, this is...
Ah, yes, the brave young Templar. Introductions are superfluous, and young is the operative word here. Yes, with God's help, you may come to be something someday, my son.
Much more than I have already, I fear, Your Eminence.
Still, one can only hope that your courage and piety will continue to bring glory to both our Lord and His church. Our seasoned heads need youthful valor, and vice versa. You may leave us, Brother Bonafides, but do not wander too far. Now, how can I assist you, my son?
By providing what my youth lacks. Guidance.
I'm always happy to. Though remember that guidance is not given casually. Those who give it expect it to be followed.
Not followed blindly.
To whom have you been speaking? No. Our Father gave us the gift of reason and free will, and we must use them whenever and wherever appropriate.
And when might they be inappropriate?
Is this the manner which you've come to consult me?
It might be.
And let us say that God showed us a path through which the Christian mission of grace and charity might be advanced here on earth. Although in a manner which may seem peculiar, even barbaric. Should we then place reason in the path of Him who created reason, or should we act with faith, acknowledging how much greater is His wisdom than our own?
Suppose then, Reverend Father, that a Jew has an only child. For the sake of the argument, a daughter. He has raised her with the utmost care for her moral education. He loves her more than his soul, and she has always returned his love.
You are saying that, albeit he is a Jew, he has been a good father.
The best. But supposing it came to our attention that the child was not his daughter, that he found her, bought her, maybe stole her as a child, I don't know, but she's a Christian child, baptized.
The Jew has raised her as a Jew?
Solely as a Jew. She has no idea she is anything but Jewish or his daughter. What should be done?
First, you must clarify something for me.
Is this an actual case or merely a hypothesis?
I don't see how it would affect you.
Because if this appalling scenario is merely a piece of intellectual caprice, then it is not worthy of serious consideration. And I suggest you went out to any peasant street theater where you'd find such speculations being bandied back and forth for the audience's edification and delight. However, if you have come in good faith and wish to tell me that this affair has taken place, is taking place within this diocese, within the walls of the holy city, then action must be taken in accordance with papal and imperial law. So, the penalty of both codes is explicit. Any Jew found guilty of leading a Christian into apostasy is to be burnt at the stake. Well, and think how much worse it is when it is a child who has been ripped from the cradle of baptism. Every act done to a child is an act of violence unless it has been sanctioned by the church herself.
But what if the child would have died in misery if the Jew had not saved her?
It is better to die in misery on earth than to be preserved for eternal damnation. The Jew must burn. And who is he to preempt the will of God, who can save whomever he wishes without the assistance of a Jew?
And perhaps also in spite of it.
The Jew must burn.
But what if he hasn't raised her in his faith, but in no faith at all? That he's taught her only what she needs to know of God to satisfy her intellectual inquiry.
For this alone he would deserve burning 3 times over. How should a child grow up without faith? How should a child be left utterly ignorant of our greatest duty? To believe. The very thought makes my flesh crawl. I'm astonished that as a Templar, as a Christian, as a man, you can contemplate this so calmly.
I thank you for your advice, Your Eminence, and I shall bear it in mind.
No! No, you cannot leave the matter there. If this is fact, then you must name this Jew. It is your duty as a knight of Christ to bring him before us. Now, what is his name?
Your Eminence, outside the confessional.
Very well. But we do have other ways of finding him. Under the terms of the city surrender, the Sultan is bound to protect us and defend both the laws and doctrines of our faith. We have a copy of the capitulation here in the monastery, which bears his signature and his seal. I know Saladin well enough that he will see the threat that atheism poses to civil order. Once people have no belief in God, why should they hold any other laws sacred? They will tear to stint asunder. I believe he'll be ready to see this abomination expunged from the city.
Well, I'm sorry that I can't stay to appreciate your inspirational words, but I'm invited to the palace myself.
Oh, you are?
So if you like, I can alert Saladin to your coming.
I hear you count him amongst your friends.
Yes, and Brother Bonafides made it very clear how you thought I should repay that friendship.
Well, perhaps you'd send the Sultan my regards. After all, he is a man of faith. He understands that when one is driven by zeal for God's truth, one can sometimes overstep the mark. And this business with the Jew, that was just simply conjecture, yes?
Conjecture, yes.
Very well. Conjecture whose basis I must examine further. Another task for Brother Bonafides, I think. Come, join me.
What is all happening? The Templar is here, and Nathan will be bringing his gold. What's that?
I found it.
Oh, it's him. It's a star. Oh, my brave brother. What we two might have achieved. Where did you find this?
In a box.
I remember it. He gave it to your older sister, to his Lilla, one morning when she absolutely would not let him leave the house. She clung to him. It was the last time he ever rode out, and I let him go alone. Lilla never forgave me. He did not return.
Oh, brother.
God's will be done. One day we shall all ride out and not return. But we should use this to compare him with the Templar. See if my memory is playing tricks.
That's why I brought it. But give it to me. Women are much better at comparing men. Don't worry, I won't bother you. And I'll try not to let my curiosity disturb him.
Your prisoner, Sultan.
My prisoner. Do you think I won't add freedom to the life I've granted you already?
I regret, Sultan, that saying thank you isn't easy for me. That is, I don't do it well. And I cannot begin to know how to thank you for saving my life except to say that it is always at your service.
All I ask is that it's not put to the service of my enemies. And I don't begrudge them the extra pair of hands, but I can't spare them your spirit. I fear seeing you again. I fear the disappointment. But you have not disappointed me. Body and soul, you are my brother Hassan. I want to remind you of past exploits, fighting with you over all the secrets that you kept from me. How could you go off on an adventure without me? If I could see you only, and not myself as well. For you are as he was, and I. Well, at least this much of my dream is truth. In the autumn of my years, a new Assad has blossomed. Stay with me. Stay here, beside me, as Christian or Muslim, you decide. In tunic, jabala, helmet, turban, it doesn't matter. In my garden, the trees bear many different kinds of fruit.
And you are, as the world says, a hero who longs to be God's garden.
And if you think none the worse of me for that, we must be half agreed.
No, we are agreed.
Your hand.
Your man, and receive more than you could have ever taken from me.
This is too much for one day. So, where's our friend? Didn't he come with you?
Who?
Who else? Nathan.
No, I came alone.
Ah. That is a pity, but what a service you did for him. You couldn't have helped a better man.
So they say.
My young friend, when God chooses to do good through us, we should not appear indifferent to it, even out of modesty.
Everything has so many different faces. Sometimes I don't understand how they all go together.
Then you should seek the best in everything, and trust God, who knows how all things are connected.
Maybe.
Young man, if you're going to be so hard to please, we'll need to watch each other. I, too, am a thing of many faces, which may also appear to you irreconcilable.
I'm very rarely suspicious of people.
So why now? And why, as it seems, of Nathan? If we are to be friends, you must tell me.
I have nothing against Nathan. Nathan is Nathan. I'm angry with myself.
Why?
For dreaming that a Jew would cease to be a Jew. For dreaming it with eyes wide open.
Tell me.
Nathan's daughter. I did for her what I did because I did. I didn't want her thanks. I didn't want anything from her. So I refused to see her, despite many requests. Nathan comes home, he learns what's happened, he seeks me out, he thanks me. He wishes that I might grow to like his daughter. Having been persuaded, I stop by the house, and there I find a girl. A girl of... I am ashamed of myself.
Why? For being attracted to a Jew? Is that all?
If Nathan hadn't encouraged me, then maybe I could have resisted, but I am a fool, and I leapt into the flames again, and this time I was rejected.
By who? The girl?
No, by Nathan. But he didn't reject me outright. No, he's too shrewd for that. He has to make inquiries, think things over, needs time. Well, we could all do that. Why didn't I take some time to consider the situation while the flames were licking at his daughter's ankles? That would have been wise.
He's an old man. You must make allowance for us. If he needs time, then that's what he needs. It's not as if he's asking you to convert.
Who knows?
Who knows? Those who know Nathan better than you.
You think he has no prejudices? Just because he appears so rational, so open-minded? Well, I don't believe that we ever lose the superstitions of our race. We drink them in with our mother's milk, and though we may mock them, they are bred into our bones.
You may be right in general, but we are talking about Nathan.
And sometimes they're so ingrained in us that we don't even know they're there. And sometimes we indulge in them because they're our own.
Yes, but no one could accuse Nathan of this.
I thought so too. But what if I told you that this paragon was actually so fervent in his faith that he sought to obtain Christian children and raise them up as Jews.
Who's told you this?
The same girl that he's lured me with. The girl that he says is his daughter is no such thing. She's a Christian child taken from God knows where.
And whom he will not let you have.
Whether he will or he won't, does it matter? He's unmasked. The prophet of tolerance is shown for what he is. A Jewish wolf.
Calm
Why should I be calm? Well, why should Jews and Muslims have their rights and Christians be denied?
Calm
And now
down.
you begin to withdraw from me. I can hear it in your voice. You don't have the same affection for me. Tell me how Assad would have acted in my place.
That much better! And with the same sound and fury! Who's taught you to get round me with a word like only he could? I'll admit, if what you're saying is true, then Nathan is not the man I thought he was. But he is my friend, and I do not like my friends fighting with each other. So take my advice. Tread carefully. Go and find Nathan and bring him here. I will see you both reconciled. Above all, say nothing of this to the fanatics of your faith. Never be a Christian despite a Jew. Or a Muslim.
Remarkable.
Well, will you finally accept that Assad was as brave and handsome as I've always said?
If it wasn't the Templar that sat for this picture,
Nathan must give him the go. Don't you agree?
is she his to give? That's the question.
And if not, why shouldn't the rights of the father fall to the man who saved her life?
Brother, why don't you bring her to the palace? While the situation's uncertain, take her into your care.
Do you think we need to?
Need? Maybe not. But with some men, I long to see what kind of girls they fall for.
Then why not send for her yourself?
Can I do that?
So long as you treat Nathan with respect, he mustn't think we're taking her from him.
You know me. I'll be discretion itself.
And I shall find where our happy has come to.
You've got it bagged and ready then.
This is the money I'm taking to the Sultan, yes?
Well, I won't be around to see it all. If I'm going and you know where. If there's anything you want me to take away for you, let me know, although it can't be more than a naked beggar can carry. Oh, come on, not wait.
Happy, will you pull yourself together? What are you doing?
Don't think this will be the end. Do you want me to sit by day after day while he leads you dry? Do you want me to witness that? Well, I've had it with him. I've had it with running back and forth, trying to find someone who will lend him something. Me who has never begged for myself. But borrowing is no better than begging. And usury is no better than theft. Beside the Ganges, I won't have need for either. Beside the Ganges, a man is just a man. And you, Nathan, you're the only one in this whole city that's worthy of a life there. Let him have the money. Come with me. Pile the whole lot up. Send it to him. Come with me.
You know, I always thought that's how you and I would end up. The two of us, beside the Ganges.
So let's go.
I need to think about it. Can't you wait?
No, this isn't the sort of thing you think about.
Till I get back from the palace. Till I've said goodbye.
Nathan, if you think about it, you'll find reason enough not to do it. Look, if you can't live your life in an instant, then you're destined to be a slave to others. The choice is yours. May you be happy in the life that you see. Mine Half goes that way and yours this.
Unhappy. You can't leave like that. Don't you need to settle the accounts?
The accounts? Don't make me laugh. There is nothing there apart from debts. And you'll vouch for it. Be happy.
I'll vouch for you. You mad, kind, good. What shall I say? Maybe you're right. Maybe a beggar is the only true sovereign.
There's a friar at the gate.
Oh, well, take him this.
No, he doesn't want money. He wants to speak to you. He says it won't take long.
Very well, show him in. What is it, Dea?
Don't pretend you don't know. The Templar loves Rachel. Let him have her. Put an end to your sin. Because I can't keep silent any longer. A few days. That's all I ask. A few days more.
No, show in the friar, and then leave us. Holy brother, what can I do for you?
I'm delighted to see the great Nathan looking so well.
Do you know me?
Who doesn't? You've pressed your name into enough poems along the years. Mine amongst them.
Then allow me to refresh it now.
Thank you. But I'd be stealing from those poorer than myself. Instead, let me refresh my name with you. For I once placed something precious into your hands.
You did. I must apologize. Tell me what it was, and then you must take 7 times its worth in atonement for my forgetfulness.
First, I should apologize for having myself forgotten about this bond until today.
You entrusted a bond with me?
Allow me. Some while ago, I lived as a hermit, not far from Jericho. One day, a gang of Arab youths, it was the time of reprisals, came by my cell. They smashed up the shrine, dragged me to the street. I was lucky to escape with my life. So I fled here, to the Patriarch's protection, to request another cell, where I might serve God in solitude, till he chooses to release me from this world.
Good brother, please enlighten me. What is this bond you entrusted with me?
I'll come to that, Nathan. First, you should know that the Patriarch promised me a cell upon Mount Tabor as soon as one falls vacant. And in the meantime, I must remain in the monastery as a lay brother. Since then, he has taken to employ me in a number of tasks which I find distasteful. For example,
To the point, please.
we have reached it. Today, the Patriarch received information concerning a Jew in this city who it's alleged has raised a Christian child as his own daughter.
From where has he heard of this?
Hear me out. Even as he's instructing me to track down this Jew and winding himself into a fury over this abomination, I feel a sinking in my heart, because it occurs to me that it could have been I, myself, who has given rise to this unpardonable sin.
You. I don't understand.
Look at me, Nathan. Look at me. Are you sure you don't recognize me?
I could swear I've never seen you before today.
Then tell me, 18 years ago, did a Christian soldier come to your dorm carrying a baby girl just a few weeks old?
Yes.
Look again.
You?
And the night you sent me? Her father. I think his name was Vilna.
Yes, it was.
Her mother had just died. He had been posted at short notice to Gaza. As I remember, somewhere where he couldn't possibly have taken the girl. So he sent her to you, his friend. I found you at Darren, is that right?
I was staying there, yes.
I would have been surprised if my memory had tricked me. I served so many nights in those days. And this one died soon after at Ascalon. But he was a good man.
He was. I've much to thank him for. He shielded me on more than one occasion.
He must have been very happy to be able to take care of his daughter.
More than you can imagine.
Who else knows this?
Only the woman who cares for her, and she only in part.
And there's still hope.
What do you mean? Hope of what?
You must trust me, Nathan, for I rarely meddle in such affairs. I'd rather stand aside than risk committing sin by trying to do good. But I don't believe there was anything wrong in the way you raised the child. You did it with your whole heart and soul, and don't deserve to be treated as a devil. I won't stand by and see that. Maybe it would have been more prudent to put her into the care of a Christian family. But this was the child of a friend. When they're small, children need love. Even the love of a wild animal more than they need Christianity. So what would be wrong with the love of a Jew? Wasn't our Lord Jesus a Jew?
Brother, if hypocrisy and hatred are stirred up against me, I hope you'll speak on my behalf. I do trust you, and I will tell you what no one has ever heard, and which you must take with you to your grave. Because I trust in your piety, you'll comprehend what it means to surrender oneself to the will of God.
Tell me, if you wish.
You met me with the child at Darren, but you were not to know that just a few days earlier in Gath, the Christians had murdered every single Jew. Women and children also. Nor could you have known that among them were my wife and 7 sons. My sons, burnt alive in my brother's house, where they had taken refuge.
Almighty God.
When you arrived, I had spent 3 days in dust and ashes spread out before God, weeping. Weeping and raging at him, raving, cursing myself and all his creation. I had sworn unending hatred to all Christians.
I can well believe you.
But gradually, reason returned. I heard a gentle voice saying, "But still God remains. This too is God's work. So come. It is time to practice what you have long since understood. It will be no harder to practice than it was to understand, if only you have the will. Get up." I stood and cried out to God, "I will, if it is your will that I should." And at that moment, you got down off your horse and presented me with a child bundled up in your cloak. What words passed between us, I've forgotten. I only remember taking her, putting her on the bed, kissing her, before I fell down on my knees and sobbed, "My God, I have one of 7 again."
Nathan, you are a Christian. By our Lord, a truer Christian never lived.
What makes me a Christian to you makes you a Jew to me. Enough of tears. There's work to be done. For though a 7-fold love has bound me to this child of a foreign land, and though the thought kills me that in losing her, I lose my sons once more, if the God of my salvation
is the way.
So, brother, you must tell me of some brother or uncle, some relation. I'll not withhold her from him. She was born and raised to be the glory of any family and of any faith.
I'm sure I cannot help. I served him so briefly. It was long ago.
The mother, then, his wife, her name was Stauffen,
Yes, I remember.
and her brother was Conrad von Stauffen and was a Knight Templar.
You knew them better than I.
But did you keep nothing of your masters? Any pictures or papers?
Only a little book. I found it in his tunic when we buried him at Ascot.
Where is it now?
I brought it for the girl, as her one bequest from her father, besides yourself. It has prayers in it. We call it a breviary.
It has more than prayers, my friend. Do you see this writing?
What does it say? Is it Arabic?
It's a list of names. It is her family.
Nathan, you must do something.
What is it?
Poor child is scared out of her wits. Someone's come.
From the patriarch.
No, from the Sultan's sister.
Sita!
She wants to see Rachel.
Not from the patriarch!
Are you deaf? No, the Sultan's sister. Why would the patriarch be interested in Rachel?
I don't know, Dea. Perhaps you could tell me.
What are we going to do?
I can see no harm in Rachel going to the
But
palace.
the only daughter of a rich Jew would be an attractive proposition, even to a Muslim. We must tell the boy.
Dea, there is nothing to worry about. Take Rachel to see the Sultan's sister, and tell her that I shall be at the palace soon myself. And with joyful news.
Are you going to tell her the truth?
In good time, Dea. In good time.
End it, Nathan. Because if you don't, I will.
You're going to the palace.
Yes. And with your permission, brother, I'd like to take this little book with me. I'll pay you for it. Its weight in gold and 1,000 dinars more.
It's not mine to sell. It belongs to his daughter. I hope God never causes you to regret all that you've done for her.
That could never be. Have no fear.
Except for patriarchs and Templars.
Templars? Do you mean it was a Templar who informed the patriarch?
I fear it must have been. The Templar had just spoken with him when he summoned him. Though I only heard a little.
But there is only one Templar in Jerusalem, and he is my friend.
Who we are and the roles we are compelled to play are not always the same.
Well, friend or foe, let him do his worst. I will not rue a single day I have spent with Rachel. I shall go and show this book to Saladin, and there amaze them all.
God be with you. I should return to the patriarch.
Oh, but you have not seen her. You must come to us soon, and then come often. And maybe it's better if the patriarch hears none of this yet. But then why not? No, tell him today if you want.
He will hear nothing from me. Godspeed you.
Do not forget us, brother. Right, go. Let me stand beneath the open sky. The dreadful knot that has so long entangled me is loose. I have nothing in the world to hide, and I am light. I can stand once more in the sight of men as freely as I do before you. You, who alone need not judge us solely by our actions, which are so seldom what we intended.
Nathan,
What are you doing here? I thought we were to meet at the palace.
I've been already. I'm sorry, don't be angry. Would you mind me asking who left you just now?
Why? Do you know him?
It looked like the lay brother the patriarch uses for his dirty work.
He's with the patriarch, yes, but he's a good man.
But that's the impression he likes to give. Did he say anything to you about me?
Not by name, but then perhaps he doesn't know your name.
He doesn't.
And it's true, he did say something of an unnamed Templar.
Yes.
But I don't think he can have meant you.
Why?
Because the Templar he spoke of had denounced me to the
That's a lie. Listen to me, Nathan. I don't believe in retractions. What I've done, I've done. That isn't to say that I don't have any regrets. But you know well enough what provokes me. What made my blood seethe. Yes, I'm an idiot, but I came to you, body and soul ready to throw myself into your arms, and you were so cold. And not even cold, lukewarm, which is worse. So measured. I don't know how I managed to remain calm. That was the state that I was in when Dea found me and whispered your secret. It seemed the perfect explanation.
Did it?
Let me finish. I imagine that having stolen her from a Christian, you were determined not to lose her to one. It seemed like a good idea to put a knife to your throat.
When you say good, in what sense are you using that word?
Listen to me. So I went to the patriarch. But I didn't give him your name. I simply described the situation to him in general terms in order to get his opinion. Yes, it was stupid to do even that, but I didn't know what kind of a man he was.
And now?
I've come to my senses. I want to try and put things right.
How do you suggest doing that?
Patriarch can only take her if she's yours alone.
That may be true.
So if you give her to me, he's powerless. I'd like to see him try and take my wife. Listen, Nathan, she's your daughter, or she isn't. She's a Christian, a Jew, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. What is. Give her to me, and I will never ask you about her again for the rest of my life. We don't have much time.
You must think it's very important to me to keep the truth concealed.
I don't care what the truth is.
In fact, I've never, either to you or anyone else who had the right to know, pretended Rachel was anything but a Christian and my adopted daughter. Why I haven't told Rachel is between me and her.
So why tell her now? Why make her look on you with new eyes? Spare her. She is yours, and all you need is her consent. I can save her for you, again. And I will.
You could have done, it's true. But not anymore. It's too late now.
How is it too late?
We have the patriarch to
The
thank for
patriarch
that.
doesn't matter.
No, you see, thanks to the patriarch, we know who Rachel's true family is.
Her true family.
And now you must approach them, and not me.
Or Rachel, curse where any other orphan would be blessed. Where are they?
Where are they?
And who are they?
The brother, in particular. He's the one you'd have to ask.
And what's he, a soldier? A priest?
I believe he's neither, or both. I'm not entirely sure.
Do you know anything else about him?
Oh, he's brave, apparently. And will take good care of Rachel.
Even if he is a Christian, Nathan, how can you allow this? How can you watch the pure wheat that you've sown be choked with weeds? Does she know any of this yet?
I don't know how she could. Oh, where are you going?
To tell her, and to see if she's the courage to make the only choice worthy of her.
Which
To
is?
follow me, even if it means becoming the wife of a Muslim.
A Muslim. How's that?
You'll see.
Well, you won't find her in there. She's with the Sultan's sister, Sita.
Since when?
And if you want to meet her brother, you should accompany me there.
Whose brother, Sita's or Rachel's?
Maybe both.
I'm so pleased to meet you at last, my Please, Sita, your friend, your sister, come. Look at you, so young and clever and devout. I bet you've read everything.
No, I have not. I can hardly read at all. I mean, I've read a few things my father's written out for me, but I thought you meant books.
I did.
No, I've never tried to read a book.
Do you really mean that?
Yes, my father hates that kind of learning from books, which just crams the mind with dead ideas.
So instead,
Instead, he teaches me himself. Almost everything I know, I can tell you where, how, why he taught it to me.
he's a clever man, his father.
He is.
What's the matter?
My father.
You're crying.
My father, I can't.
Little one, what's wrong?
I'm going to lose him.
Who? Nathan? No, you shan't. I won't let it. Look at me. Your sister gives you her word.
You truly meant you'd be my sister?
I did. I am. Now look at me, or I shall have to call someone.
I'm sorry. Forgive me. I forgot where I was, who you are.
Well,
You must prevent it from happening, sister. You must stop them trying to force another father onto me.
who wants to?
Taya, my good and bad Taya. She took such care of me when I was a child. You wouldn't believe it. She was like my mother. And now, she tortures me.
Tortures you? How?
Oh, it's done from love, I'm sure. But she's the kind of Christian who believes she alone knows the true path.
I've met them.
And now, I have nothing left to fight her with.
Tell me, what has she done?
On our way here, we passed a church, burnt out, tower, on the edge of falling. Dea stops, looks up, then at me. Her eyes are wet. She seems possessed. She grabs my hand, says, "Through here," and dives into the ruin. I'm sure we will be crushed. One thing or another will fall on us, but we're stopped again. We're stood before a blackened altar. Dea throws herself down at my feet, wrings her hands, and sobs.
Poor child.
And with this terrifying look of love, she pleads, "Bow down and beg for mercy from the Virgin for yourself and your family." Sita, they were Christians. I was baptized. I am not Nathan's daughter. He is not my father. Oh God, he is not my father.
Rachel, please, stand up. My brother is coming. Stand up.
What's the matter?
She is not yourself.
Who is it?
You know.
Nathan's daughter. What's happened to her?
Child, pull yourself together. The Sultan.
I can't get up. Don't make me. I can't look him in the face.
Come on, stand up.
I can't look him in the face until he's promised me.
Whatever it is, you have my word.
Let my father stay with me and be with him. I don't know who it is who's claiming to be my real father, and I don't want to know. Is it blood that makes a father? Blood and only blood?
I understand. What wicked person gave you the idea that Nathan is not your father? Did they have any proof? And if they did, no. Fathers are not fathers by blood alone, even amongst animals. Listen, Rachel, can I suggest something to you? These two fathers who are warring over you, reject them both and choose me. I will be your father.
Do it, Rachel. Do it.
I'd be a good father. The best. But wait, I have a better idea still. Not even the best father will stay around forever. What you need is someone who will run life's race beside you to the end. Yes? A friend. Am I right? Perhaps you have someone in mind?
You're making her blush.
That was the idea. Blushing will make even an ugly face look pretty. And the pretty, it makes radiant. Because your father, Nathan, is outside with someone else. I wonder if you can guess. Sit up, may I?
Brother?
My friends, before we go any further, Nathan, I'm pleased to say I no longer need your money.
Sultan,
The caravans have come, and I am richer than I have ever been. So now you must tell me what I can do for you. Is there no great enterprise of yours that I can support?
please. I cannot give this my attention when there is a tearful eye that needs me to dry it. Why have you been crying? What's wrong? You're still my daughter, aren't you?
Yes, of course. But are you still my father?
If you want me to be, no more. We understand each other. Be cheerful. If your heart is still your own, no other loss can harm you. And your father will never be lost to you.
That's the only thing that matters to me.
The only thing.
The only thing. I need nothing else.
I've been mistaken. Making this changes everything. Saladin, you've summoned us here, but I've misled you. You no longer need to trouble yourself with all of this. Forgive me.
What's the matter now? Does everything always have to revolve around you?
That's what she said. You've seen them.
I have, and it seems you weren't entirely certain of your facts.
Now I am.
Just wait a moment, young man. You mustn't pay too much attention to him, or be too hard on him. If he wasn't the way he is, so hot-headed and red-blooded, he might never have got around to saving you. You'll have to weigh the one against the other. Come on. Put him to shame. Do what he ought to be doing, if he dare. Propose to him. If he rejects you, then at least you have the satisfaction of knowing who is the more courageous. What did he do for you after all? Got some smoke in his eyes. That's what my brother would have said. But I think maybe he has only Assad's shape, and not his spirit. Come on.
Go on, Rachel. It's the least you can do to repay him.
Saladin, sit up. Please wait.
Now it's you, is it?
There's someone else who needs to be consulted.
Who's denying that? No one would dare silence a foster father who's done so much for her. Speak. You see, I know all there is to know.
Not quite all. It wasn't myself I meant. There's another. Someone you should meet before we proceed any further.
Who?
Rachel's brother.
I have a brother?
Yes,
And where is he? Oh, I thought you said he'd be here.
have patience.
First he forces a father onto her, now he wants to foist a brother too.
That is beneath you, Christian. My brother would have never uttered such stupidity.
Forgive him. I can. Who knows what we would have thought in his place at his age. But of course, my friend, suspicion quickly flames into distrust. But if you would only let me know your true name.
What do you mean?
You are not Conrad von Stauffen.
Then who am I?
Leo Vilnet.
Am I?
Oh, I don't deny you have some right to the other name as well.
I believe I do.
Your mother's name was Stauffen, but Conrad was not your father. He was your mother's brother.
How do you know this?
Because your real father was my friend.
I don't see how that's possible.
He called himself Wolf, but he was not German. He had met your mother here before I knew them. She was German, and together they moved to Swabia, where you were born. But persecution drove them into exile, so they returned to this land of exiles, where I met them.
What does any of this have to do with Rachel?
You, their son, they must have left in Swabia in the care of your uncle, Conrad, a Knight Templar.
Enough! Tell us where Rachel's brother
He
is!
is standing before me.
What are you
now.
saying?
That you are Rachel's brother.
My brother and sister?
Your mother died giving birth to a daughter whom your father could not care for. So he entrusted her to his closest friend, the Jew.
My brother.
No, she's not my sister. She can't be.
Then it isn't true. Not if he doesn't feel it. It isn't true.
No. It's simply that there's no truth in him. He's an imposter. The face, the voice, none of it belongs to him. He's fake. Unless you can acknowledge her.
Please, Sultan. You couldn't possibly have seen Assad in a moment like this. Please do not misjudge both him and me. Nathan, you give and you take away. No. You have given me infinitely more than you could have ever taken. Your sister. My sister. Rachel.
You must call her Lena.
No. I am poor Rachel. You cannot disown me now.
Nor do I. You can both be my children, if you want. Why shouldn't my daughter's brother be my son?
What are you thinking, sister?
It moves me.
And I tremble at the thought of what may be to come. Prepare yourself.
What for?
Nathan, a word. Did you say?
What?
I can hardly dare to ask it. Her father wasn't born in Germany. He wasn't German by birth.
No,
What was he then? Where did he come from?
he would never tell me. I asked him, but
He wasn't a Westerner, a European.
no, that much he did admit. His first language was Persian.
It's him.
Who?
My brother's son can only have been.
If you believe it so, this book may be your confirmation. Here he wrote his family tree.
So, my brother, that's where you wrote out to.
They know nothing of this. You must decide how much you wish to tell them.
How can I not acknowledge my own brother's children? My nephew, my niece, my children. Do you think I'm going to let you have them to yourself? Sit up! It's them, the lost children of our lost brother. You are home.
How could it be otherwise?
And now you, young man, will have to show me some respect and love. And you, my daughter, I promise I would be the prince of fathers, and I shall.
And you must still call me sister, and not aunt.
My son, my Assad, my lost Assad, son.
I am of your blood. These are the stories they told me as a child, which filled my dreams, and which I never dared believe.
Look at him! The rascal knew this all along. And yet he would have let me murder him. You wait.
And so, our tale from 1779, translated for you today, if not line by line, then with a similar plot of people living apart, and their efforts to embrace one another's hearts, which is never easy nor complete. A family of differing faiths, however sweet, leaves one soul of similar blood and bone outside the circle and alone. Though they call me wise, though they call me friend. This is how such stories sometimes end. May we all help to make our world shining and new. Until then, good people, peace unto you.